Warning, this podcast contains explicit sexual language and should only be listened to at work if you're looking for an excuse to connect with your HR representative. Additionally, all mentions of the word women include cis, trans, NB, genderqueer, gender fluid, and those still figuring it out. Yes, you are welcome here.
Will you open up with me? These pages, they can feed your innermost desires. Do you feel inspired? Are you getting what you need? Are you coming curiously? A secret safe with me. And here you can simply be yourself. J Sweet Romance. Come on in, come on in, come on.
Welcome back for some delayed gratification, part 2 of our clit stimulation episode. If you have not listened to part 1, pause, set up your space, run a bubble bath, put on a scented candle or some mood lighting. Go listen to part 1 so that you'll be fully satisfied by the end of part 2. Here we go.
Exactly.
It's not your fault.
No.
So let's just get this out of the way. People with penises, not your fault.
Now, let me say, if you realize that if you are someone with a penis and you realize that something's not right, but then you don't go out of your way to figure out how to fix it and make it better for your partner, then it's your fault.
Yeah, if you listen to this episode and then are like, you know what, I'm kind of okay with my partner never having an orgasm and it's just all about me. That's a problem. That's a you problem. Yes. That's an I hope you never get laid again problem.
Exactly.
So, but it also means that historically, men's pleasure is the default pleasure. So if it works for a man, it should work for a woman. Not I can't even say that without so many feelings coming out of my face.
So much.
Just so wrong. Okay, here's a quote. I'm going to read this quote because I highlighted it. I put an exclamation point in there. Oh, man. But if women's expected kind of orgasm is whatever men experience, then that should be clitoral stimulation, since anatomically, the clitoris is the homologue of the penis. All right? Remember? Clitoris turned into penis, but less good and not only for sensation. So if we're trying to be like women are like men, then it should be all about the clit. To say that women, okay, I'm going to continue. Less feelings. Fewer feelings here. To say that women should have orgasms from vaginal penetration is anatomically equivalent to saying that men should have orgasms from prostate or perineal stimulation. Now they can, yes. And many do, yes. Absolutely. But even I read a lot of MM. I do. I love some MM action. Even if you're getting fucked in the ass, usually someone's like, yeah, I'm going to jerk you off too, or jerk yourself off while I'm fucking you in the ass. Yes. So dudes fucking other dudes aren't even like, yeah, we shouldn't stimulate the thing that makes orgasm easier to achieve at all. No, they're like, hey, it would be easier for you to come if we touched your penis at the same time I'm fucking you in the ass. Okay. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, and this is another sentence, I'm like, this is so sad because it's true. Men's pleasure is the default pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just about sex. That's really about everything.
It's the whole idea of lay back and think of England. Like that's what women were made to do.
Right? Lie back and think of England. Women aren't supposed to enjoy sex.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love, oh, you're hysterical. Maybe we should give you an orgasm. Oh God, it's so fucking funny. Oh, here's a sentence that I want everybody to hear real loud and proud. Because there's this other thing of like, well, women's orgasms aren't important because they don't help with procreation. Men's orgasms are important because that's how you make babies. You ejaculate the sperm into a vagina and you make a baby. But women don't need to have an orgasm to make a baby. technically true. However, women's orgasms are important because women's sexual well-being is important. And orgasm is part of that for a lot of women. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. I don't know if I'm allowed to call you Emily, but I'm calling you Emily because we're talking about sex.
We're friends now.
We're friends now.
No, like,
Yeah.
I wish y'all listening could have seen my face as Jace was saying that, because it's I mean, that is essentially what purity culture is preaching. Like,
Yes.
it's all about, I mean, there's a whole fucking verse in the New Testament of the Bible that says, go forth and be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. And I'm like, y'all
Old
are
Testament.
taking, is that in the Old Testament? It's in the New Testament as well. It's in Matthew.
All I know is like Adam is not Adam. Abraham is like, and your people, you're like, go forth and multiply, and your people will be as numerous as the stars.
It is there, but in Matthew, Jesus says it to his disciples, and like Christians take it completely out of context, and like Catholics use it a lot. That's
right. No birth control.
No birth control. And I'm like,
you can't have birth control because then you aren't going forth
and multiplying. I'm pretty sure that's not what Jesus was talking about. I'm pretty sure he was talking about like bringing the Christian love and lifestyle to the world. Not necessarily like, oh, hey, you got to make all of these little Christian babies that you can brainwash and raise up and how you want them to think. Like, that's not.
I can't. This is not a religious podcast, and we cannot debate fucking Bible study. Because I know. Whatever translation you heard is a fucking translation. It's not even the direct thing.
It's a complete non sequitur right there. But that's the culture I grew up.
Is it?
That's the culture I grew up in. I mean, that's what I was raised to believe and to follow. Is that the male was going to do this, and that's why.
God fucking damn it! All right. Mm-hmm. So this sentence is about orgasm difficulties, but I also want to apply it to just like sex in general. If you've if you like me have only had partners, maybe this is the first time you've ever heard that your clitoris could be stimulated by a partner externally during penetration. Congratulations. Go forth and fuck. Go forth, fuck, and have fun. So
yes,
like, the goal of orgasm has a lot to do with your mental state, but if you're exploring what does it mean to touch your clit or have your partner touch your clit during sex, here's another sentence from this book, Come As You Are, that I just loved. The central approach to orgasm difficulties, and if you've never had your clit stimulated during penetration, you've never orgasmed from vaginal penetration alone, I'm going to call that orgasm difficulties. But the central approach to orgasm difficulties is to make pleasure the goal and not orgasm. And especially when you're starting to figure out, how do I do this in a way that could achieve orgasm? Saying I have to achieve orgasm, or maybe I want to achieve orgasm as quickly as I do with my vibrator, like, that's not going to help you. But if you frame it as, how can I make a sexual experience more pleasurable? That's going to give you the freedom to explore with fingers, with your partner, with a toy, with anything, without that pressure of, well, now I'm supposed to come. If I'm stimulating my clit, that should solve all my problems. It's not fair. Sorry. I'm not going to talk about this, but I'm just telling Sephi, there was a study that apparently was like, oh, you'll achieve orgasm easier if you wear socks. Yeah. From a study of people who were, masturbating in imaging equipment, and it's because their fucking feet were cold. So when they put socks on, they were warmer and they were able to achieve orgasm more quickly. Sorry, I know, it's so great, but my note was fucking lol.
That is amazing.
That has nothing to do with this episode, but like, just a fucking lol. Okay. Oh my God.
That just makes me think of the chart I got in college where if you didn't have at least one piece of clothing on when you were having sex, it was illegal in the Middle Ages. So people would like wear a sock to have sex so they wouldn't get arrested.
All I can think about is having sex through a sheet.
Oh God.
Have you heard about that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, having sex through a sheet. I'm like, oh God, that's terrible. Okay. So now that we've talked about orgasms and we talked about female pleasure and understanding our bodies and understanding our vulvas and understanding our clits and understanding that, you know, penises are really great and they can feel really good, but they're not necessarily magical and they're not necessarily, you know, anatomically meant to give us an orgasm. I want to talk about how this is represented. We're going to talk about how this is represented in romance novels.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I am not done. I'm going to keep adding to this as we go because I feel
Good.
I want the percentages to change.
Yeah.
So these numbers come from 48 books. It's not a huge number of books.
Especially considering how many romance books are out there.
No. And considering I've already read, like, by the time I wrote all this down, I'd read 100. But like, so half and not all of the books that I read have explicit sex. You know what?
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, what was that? Once Upon a Broken Heart, that whole series, totally worth it. No explicit sex. But let's go with half the romance novels that I'm reading have explicit or let's go with half the romance novels that I'm no, some of these are that much older. I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. Of the 48 books that I took notice of so far, having clit stimulation during penetration, 79 times it was the male participant or participants, yes, thank you, stimulating the clit. And only 12 times was it a woman stimulating herself.
That is interesting.
Super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's great about this is clits are getting stimulated.
Yes. Yes.
Let's
Massive plus.
And this is pretty much every, let me look at my notes. In all of these instances, it's manually.
Okay.
All of these, there may be 5 or 6 instances where it was, oh, the angle that he fucked me and pushed his pubic bone against my clit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so much less common.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. Maybe because it's just not sexy to write about. But I feel like in general it would be a easier thing for a partner to do. So that's going to be a different episode.
Yeah.
But all of this is by hand. So someone using a hand or a finger, not a toy.
Mm-hmm.
The toys are great, to stimulate.
Okay.
And I am so thrilled again that we're seeing these. I have a few books I will highlight as, oh my gosh. The book apparently that I had the most numbers of clit stimulation is Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight, which was not a book. Like it's a dark fucking romance. It helps that there are 4 dudes. Damn. 3 or 4 of them. I know. So there's a lot of sex in this book. So like good on K.A. Knight for a lot of clit stimulation.
Maybe that's why it's so hard for guys to figure it out, because it's so hard to say. Clit stimulation.
Say it 5 times fast and then you can achieve it. Oh goodness. But so what we're seeing in these romance novels are, if there's clit stimulation, it is often the male counterpart doing the stimulating. And something that y'all, I'm asking for your feedback on, because I know what happens in my life. But I'm curious because you don't know what you don't know. For those of you who are engaging in sex and penetration with someone, are they the one who is in charge of stimulating your clit, or are you in charge of stimulating your clit?
That's a good question.
That's, you know, it's a great question. I'm really fucking curious. I only know what's true for me, but
right.
I'm the exception to a lot of rules. I don't trust my experience to be the same as everyone else's. Now, what this also shares is a lot of sex in romance novels is aspirational. It is what we hope to achieve, what we hope to have with our partner. Maybe not every day, because you can't have a 3-hour fuck fest every day, y'all. You got shit to do. But on special occasions, when the mood strikes and the kids are away and you're, on a beach in Maui, but not out because public indecency. So a lot of the sex in romance novels is aspirational. I won't tell you that it isn't. It would be great if we could always have 3-hour fuck fests and then never be tired, like every night. Or sore, or have 5 orgasms in a row, and your partner gets hard after 30 minutes and they're ready to go again. Like, because it's got to last for 3 hours. It's got multiple rounds. But what I think what this shows from the authors who are writing and that I've read is what is really aspirational is a partner who prioritizes pleasure.
Yes.
And
100%.
satisfaction. Yeah. So it's not, I'm going to lie back, think of England, and you're going to not only thrust, but also get your hand in there and stimulate me correctly on the left side in a sideways motion. Thank you very much, because that's my preference.
It's exactly right. Like, it's, oh man.
But a partner who takes the time to really make the goal their partner satisfaction. And I'm not saying this shouldn't in real life go both ways. As someone with a vulva, when I'm having penetrative sex, like, I want to make sure that my partner is, getting the angle that they like, is being able to use their body in the correct way, that, I'm, doing a few Kegel exercises to like spice it up. But that's because I want my partner to be satisfied. But if the only way your partner thinks that they can satisfy you is through their magical penis, that's going to be a problem. So finding partners and educating partners about how to satisfy us are probably, it's our best option, y'all. Like, telling them what you want. And this aspirational thing that I'm seeing of, it's more than 6 times dude stimulating versus a woman stimulating herself. What this shows is the aspiration, the hope, and the goal is to find a partner where they make that a priority in their lovemaking. And I believe it's out there. I believe that it can happen. And there are a lot of, it's going to be a different sensation. It's going to be a different feeling. It might take your partner a little bit of coordinating the first time you try it. Which is why I think if we go back to that kind of orgasm difficulties, which this kind of systemically is, the goal shouldn't necessarily be orgasm straight out the gate, but pleasure. How do I increase my pleasure during intercourse? How can my partner help me increase my pleasure during intercourse? And right?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. So reading these stories, it's very helpful. It's very sexy. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
gives me ideas of what I'm going to bring to a partner.
Yes.
And we've mentioned this on the podcast. And I know, Sephi, that especially because you are part of the kink community, there's so much conversation that happens outside of your intimacy.
Yeah.
But this is a perfect example of a conversation that you should have before or just not during.
No.
Whether it's, I'm going to take charge today, I want to try something new. And maybe you bring your favorite vibrator into the bedroom and you're like, hey, we're going to do it doggy style because that's your fave. And I'm going to see what happens when I put a vibrator. And I'm going to see what happens when I put a vibrator on my clit. You cool with that? How do you feel about toys? Are you experiencing some, feelings that the patriarchy instilled on you about your ability to satisfy me? Should I tell you that I faked every orgasm with you? God fucking damn it, I hope you haven't. Don't fake orgasms.
No.
Don't do it.
No, because then it just perpetuates the cycle and it makes it worse.
It perpetuates the cycle. It's mean. It's just fucking mean.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to for me. It's mean.
Yeah,
if your partner really wants you to be satisfied and what you do is lie to them about your satisfaction, that's mean.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's right there in what you said, lie to them. That's not something that you need to bring to the table with a partner, whatever that partner label extends to.
Yeah. Whether it's a sexual partner, whether it's a romantic partner, it just doesn't need to be there. But I think while the aspiration is certainly a partner who can stimulate during intercourse, the way that we start this is by taking it into our own hands or our own vibrators and figuring out, like, does this feel good? And also remembering that when you are masturbating, especially when you're masturbating, you are able, usually in a place where you're like, you're ready, you're calm, it's sacred, you're in the bath, you're in your bed, nothing's going to bother you. You've turned your phone on, do not disturb, you put on your favorite scented candle, you've got that one vibrator that you know is going to do the job really, really well because it's exactly what you like, because the 30 other vibrators in your drawer did not do it like this, and you have invested in the good one, and that's the one you're going to use.
Yes.
And the good one. Yes. And you can achieve orgasm in 5 seconds. You've like put on your Dipsy or your Quinn, and so you're listening to sexy voices telling you sexy things, which is different than reading a romance novel because those things are explicitly meant to titillate.
Yeah.
So you like put that on, you're all in your zone, you turn on the vibrator and you come immediately. Amazing, wonderful, done. That is not going to happen.
No.
During sex with a partner.
No.
And I pretty much guarantee if you ask a human with a penis how fast they can jerk themselves off, they'd be like 30 seconds. Like, I know what I like best. One of my favorite things, conversation of like, I don't know, we were talking about the song Devil in Pound of Georgia, like the fiddle, like I can play a fiddle. And like if the devil was like, I'm gonna do something, like I'm making a deal with you, like and he's like, who can get me off faster, you or me? I will win every single time. And I'm like, okay, great. You know how to jerk yourself off really, really well. The devil can do it better.
Good. Glad. Oh man.
Which is, great, wonderful. So happy for you. But that's it. Like, if orgasm were the only thing that you hope to achieve during intercourse, you wouldn't have intercourse. You'd be like, well, I can just jerk off right now and be done in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Or I can connect with this other human and it will be prolonged and it will be different and the sensations will change and eventually I'll, have an orgasm. And I think is something to just make sure we all keep in mind when bringing in clit stimulation, is that it won't feel like it does when you masturbate.
Right.
It just won't.
Right. Well, it's like you said, orgasms are a mental thing as much as a physical thing. So when you have that spread out where you're like in your safe space, your bed, your tub, you have all of these things that you know get you off, of course you're going to come in 5 seconds. Like you're in a mindset where you're like, yes, I am relaxed, I am okay, I am safe, and I'm going to make myself feel good. But a lot of the times when you're with a partner, you're like, me anyways, for me, I want to make them feel good just as much as I want to make myself feel good. So I'm trying to do both at the same time. I have gotten lost in my head doing that. Like I've had partners tell me, come back. Where'd you go? Come back. I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry. So it of course it's going to be different when you're with a person. But again, our culture has told us not that.
Not that.
Yeah.
So all right. So let's talk about these steps. Understanding what our clitoris is, that it's okay to masturbate with our clitoris. That's probably the easiest way to achieve orgasm. That if this is something that is not currently existing in our intercourse, that this is a conversation we should have with our partner outside of the bedroom when all of our clothes are on and there's no chance whatsoever about us having sex right now, so that the feelings and maybe the insecurities about sex, because y'all, like, men, people with penises are told that their penises are supposed to be magical and make vulvas have orgasms. They're taught that too.
Yeah.
And so when that just isn't true, they feel like their penis is broken. It's not fair to them either.
No,
Let's
it's not.
break ourselves out of the bullshit of the patriarchy so we can free our partners from the bullshit of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
So we've had this beautiful conversation. They understand that their penis is great and amazing and wonderful and a great size because your vagina is only 4 inches long. It's a great size, beautiful girth. You could write poems about it. You're not going to, because all you're going to talk about are the veins. But
nice throwback.
But right, thank you. So then you step into the next stage, and I would say being in charge of that stimulation is probably the next best thing, because your partners might be in their head about, oh my God, my penis isn't enough. What am I doing? I've never satisfied her. How can I satisfy her? What if this doesn't work? What if it's me? If you say, hey, let's do this and I'm going to try this, and the goal is just to increase the sensation and to increase my pleasure and not necessarily to achieve orgasm. Great, wonderful, done. And you practice in multiple positions in lots of different ways. Try anything twice. Maybe you bring a toy in. Maybe you switch hands and you go with like the stranger. I don't know.
That is still like the most amusing concept to me, but I get it. I'm not like yucking anybody's yum. It just is funny to me. Just the thought of it. It's a silly little thing, and it works. It works sometimes. So
it does. So then you're in this place where you are trying, you're succeeding, and if you're having a lot of success with a toy, maybe your partner holds the toy on you. Maybe you try a different position where, the toy is in a different place. Maybe it's a hand. Maybe it doesn't matter. But what the goal of all of this is to make sure that you are able and safe and welcome to explore the satisfaction of your vulva and the sensation of your clit during sex. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I read about someone touching a clit during sex, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, just shock and awe and then anger that it never occurred to me in my life. Just, my God.
I get it.
But then also, like, that's a lot. They're doing a lot. Like, I need both hands to, like, hold me when I'm being fucked. Like, I don't know if I want one of those hands going somewhere else, because then it won't be as what I want or what I'm used to or whatever. And let's acknowledge that things will go wrong And that's okay.
Yes.
Some of the best sexual experiences I've had have been the ones where neither of us achieved orgasm because maybe something really fucking funny happened.
Yes.
And we just like giggled and lost it, and we couldn't come back from it. We
Yep.
just couldn't come back from it. But the connection that I made with that partner
Mm-hmm.
was just leaps and bounds above, oh, great, orgasm, woohoo.
Right.
Yes. That was me falling asleep. Sorry, that was me falling asleep. Not my partner, me.
I completely agree with you. I mean, one of a recent partner I had that experience with, and it was great. The laughing is I think the laughing is like the best part.
It's fabulous.
Yes.
So what I want to conclude right now with, and if y'all want me to start collecting, because I have all the quotes still, they exist in my notes. I just didn't put this on a list because it was like, and then he reached around and touched my clit, and then he reached around and touched her clit, and then I reached around and touched her clit, and then I reached down and touched her clit, or I said, touch yourself, girl, be a dirty girl and touch yourself for me. I'm like, okay, that's great. So like, there really isn't I will say there isn't a lot of variety in how this is portrayed. No. But I will be collecting this. What I hope for all of us with vulvas, with clits, and people who, like to fuck with a penis, people with vulvas and clits, is that our eyes are opened to all that it can be. That yes, this is aspirational, and like part of the reason why it's aspirational and why I think it is so prevalent in romance novels, the person with the penis stimulating the clit, is that it shows a partner who is purely devoted to their pleasure. The person with the vulva's pleasure. Exactly. And that is honestly incredibly rare. Yes. In this world, for all the reasons we've already talked about. And I'm pretty much, the person with a penis still has an orgasm every single time he, makes sure the person with the vulva comes first. But the idea of a partner that devoted to our pleasure is deeply attractive and also safe. It's a sense of safety and security that, I'm not broken and my partner is here for me and my partner wants to try these things and have me experience X, Y, and Z, that it's not, okay, I finish, like penis ejaculates and then you have to finish yourself off in the bathroom. Like that just doesn't happen in these stories unless it's, for comedic effect. Or if it does happen, and that it's true. I've read, I love the stories where the vulva does not achieve orgasm, and afterwards the person with the penis is like, I am sorry, my bad. Let me stimulate you in some other way because your orgasm is important to me and I want to make sure that I'm doing all in my power to satisfy you. Yes. Those moments feel very precious to me because I think that's more realistic than a person who can like give you 5 magical orgasms during penetration.
No, I completely agree, because it's a partner who's aware of how their partner is reacting, interacting. They are aware of their partner's body and pleasure, and it's fucking sexy as shit.
So fucking sexy as shit. So fucking sexy as shit.
Yes.
So, what have we learned today? What your clit looks like. Yay!
Yay!
I mean, just There are drawings. You don't have to like go to a porn site, because also remember the clit, the little nubbin, or the pearl, or whatever the fuck you're going to call it metaphorically. But the clitoral head is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that goes into it. It gets hard. It helps you get wet. It is where most people with vulvas experience orgasm from. It's where most of us masturbate to achieve orgasm from. And it's really not instinctual to figure out how to stimulate it while fucking from the person who's doing the fucking. It's not instinctual to be like, here, let me make sure that I thrust my pubic bone up against your clit in a way that doesn't rub my pubic hair on it in a bad way. Like it's not something that we're taught. And like, yes, there are ways and techniques and positions that you can achieve those things with. But I think also they don't translate necessarily very well on the page. And that might not be how you have sex in real life. So when we're talking about what we're reading in romance novels, which is our aspirational sex life, we want satisfaction and connection from a partner who prioritizes our pleasure and does so in this way. The way that we see that in these romance novels is by making sure that our clits are stimulated, or their clits are stimulated during penetration, and how we can bring that into our real life by having conversations with our partners outside of the bedroom about wanting to try something. What are we going to do? How do we feel about it? Reassurance from our partner as well, like that to our partner as well, that they're doing a great job regardless of, you know, the state of our orgasm during penetration, which is usually not happening without some clit stimulation. It's just not. It's not. Literally, the science proves it. It's not. It's nothing wrong with their penis. Their penis is doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
But if our intention is pleasure and connection, and that connection through orgasm and, you know, the release and the safety and all of that, then we need to approach it from a different angle, because the science proves it's not your penis. It's not your penis. Your penis is great. It just wasn't meant to help women achieve orgasm.
No.
That's fine. And then figuring out how we take these next steps, either ourselves or by bringing our partner into the situation, so that maybe not every time you have sex, it's your partner stimulating you with their hand or with a toy or with something else. But that extra layer that maybe was missing is prioritized in your sex life, so that when you read your next novel and you see that, your thought isn't, man, that sounds great, I wish, but yeah, that sounds great, we did it last night. And
yes.
Like, isn't that the goal? It's not the 3-hour fuck fest, but it's that you have those moments of intense connection, like in a romance novel, in your real life.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hope that y'all are inspired and excited rather than frustrated or, you know, down on yourself from this. The list of all the books that had this in them will be in the show notes.
Oh, goodness.
48 books. I know. But I'll keep going with this. I'm not gonna stop noticing when clits are getting stimulated. I'm not gonna stop. And if you want quotes, let us know in the comments, and I can absolutely, maybe we'll do a special bonus episode that's just the quotes of clit stimulation.
Yes. I'm for it.
Oh man. All for it. Oh, well, Sephi, I think we've done enough damage for today.
Yes. Damage to the patriarchy.
Damage to the patriarchy.
Michael, that better stay in the episode.
Better fucking stay. All right, y'all. Bye. That's it for today, y'all. This has been a 3 Paws Productions podcast. Our producer is Sephi. Michael Achenbach is our patient editor. Our theme song is written and performed by Diana Weishauer. You can find show notes and so much more at jacereadsromance.com. That's JAYCE Reads Romance. Follow along on TikTok and Instagram at Jace Reads Romance. If you'd like to ask a question or share a story for the podcast, call and leave a message at 661-JACE-RR. That's 661-529-2377. Or send an email to jace@jacereadsromance.com. Finally, like and subscribe so you can get every episode when they drop. You can also leave us a review to help others find us. And remember, this is Jace holding space for you.